Hey you guys, this is Forever Lubin, and in this video I'm going to do my very first story time. And before I even get to that, I am talking about something very sensitive, so it is pretty graphic. So I just wanted to give you guys the heads up, and this video might be pretty long because there are a lot of things I want to discuss and to talk about. Thank you for showing me some love by liking, subscribing, commenting. And for those who just, watch my videos without subscribing, you can hit that subscribe button with the bell so that you know when I am uploading. To start off, this event in my life happened in 1998. And it was when I was 6 years old. And being a 6 year old, we're just innocent, naive little kids who run around, getting our clothes dirty. Around that time, I was just a young kid. Just a typical kid who plays with toys, who was in elementary school and kindergarten. I was very shy and very quiet. And I am shy and quiet till this day. And people took it as me being mentally challenged or retarded. I really don't like that word. I'm just saying what I've been described as. But to be honest, all I've ever been was misunderstood. So this was back in 1998. I was 6 years old. I was living with my mom and her boyfriend. And they had two daughters. And they're my half sisters, but I call them my sisters. I was the only daughter between my parents. I felt a little left out because of it. The fact that, oh, they're like the small little family and I'm like the oddball. I've always wanted that happy family, both parents married together. My mom's boyfriend at the time, he didn't make me feel left out. I saw him as my dad, and he was nice to me, and, I trusted him. He's my mom's boyfriend. He's the father of my sisters. So I wanted to feel like I fit in. It was at daytime. I remember sleeping on their bed, my mom and boyfriend's bed. I don't know why I was sleeping there. And I was like half asleep. I remember opening my eyes and I saw my mom getting ready to go somewhere. And she had like a card in her hand. It's not really significant, but I'm just telling you guys how much I can remember like this event vividly. So she had this card in her hand and she was getting ready to leave. And then I closed my eyes. And then a couple minutes later, I opened my eyes again and I see my mom's boyfriend making a bed on the floor. And I was a little confused, but also I was a little bit disoriented because, I just woke up and I was like half asleep and whatnot. So after that, I closed my eyes. I wasn't fully asleep. After he picked me up, he placed me on the ground. And I was getting ready to get up, but then he pinned me down. And after that, he removed my underwear and he sticked his penis inside of me. I remember screaming and kicking and trying to fight him off of me, but he was heavy set, so he put his weight all on my body and his hairy chest was on my face, so I couldn't really breathe. I felt very powerless and just had an out of body experience. I just laid there and zoned out. I just didn't want to be there. Like I just put myself in a whole different scenario or situation. I was confused and I wasn't sure what happened to me. At the time, my mom didn't really discuss sex to me and my sisters, and I didn't know what rape was at the time. So, unfortunately, I had to know what sex and rape was the worst way. Wanted to tell my mom about it, but I was scared because I didn't want to get him in trouble. And I thought about my mom. I didn't want to, mess up the relationship because, the little happy family and whatnot. So I just kind of kept it to myself. And then hoping that, it was a one time thing and that he won't do it again. One night, I wasn't 100% asleep. My sisters were sleeping. And I remember hearing the door opening and I heard footsteps. And I opened my eyes and I saw, a shadow on the wall. And then I closed my eyes, and at first I thought it was my mom just checking in, but while my eyes were closed, like I heard the footsteps walking towards me and towards my bed, and I felt my bed move, and I heard, the creaking from my bed. And then I felt hands. They were really cold, and I was wearing a nightgown at the time. I felt someone removing my underwear. I was like paralyzed. I couldn't really say or do anything. I just kept my eyes closed. And then I felt something inside of me. I remember the sound of his breathing, the small grunts that he would make when he's thrusting, the smell of his cologne. I just laid there and I was really paralyzed. And then I tried to open my eyes and then he closed them shut, thinking I don't know who it was that was taking advantage of me, but clearly I know. I knew. So, while he was violating me, I thought about my mom the whole time. He kept going and going deeper and deeper. And there was nothing I could say or do because, like what I said before, I was thinking about my mom, and I didn't want to tell her because I didn't want to um to cause any trouble, and I didn't want to break up, the relationship, anything like that. I didn't want my sisters to lose their dad. So when that happened, I just thought about all of that, and then I just kept it to myself. And after he was done, he put my underwear back on, got off my bed, and then he went to bed, went to his room, and went to sleep. I remember the next day, I went to school feeling sick. And being a shy kid, I didn't tell anyone that I wasn't feeling well. I didn't tell my teachers. I was afraid to tell. So I just trying to let it ride and see if it goes away, but it got worse. My teacher noticed I wasn't feeling well, and then she took me to the bathroom where I vomited. And then I went home for the rest of the day. And once again, I thought that it would be the last time he would do something like that. So, so I didn't say anything. But then it kept happening every night. I couldn't go to bed. I couldn't fall asleep because I expected him to walk into the room any moment, removing my panties, putting his penis inside of me again, thrusting and clutching. Me not being able to say anything, me thinking about my mom the whole time and thinking about my sisters. And like I said before, like I didn't know what he was doing to me, but it did not feel right. It did not feel right at all. Just hearing him breathe and just moaning and stuff. Moaning and then like having his way with me, treating me like an object and a toy. I was a kid. I didn't know. I did not thought about my mom. And I wanted her to save me. But she did. And then I remember another occasion. It was daylight. I wasn't sure if it was the weekend, but I know that it wasn't there was no school. My mom went somewhere and I was at home with him and my sisters. And he called me. He called me to go to his room. So I did. I didn't know what happened once I walked in, but I knew that I ended up on the bed. He was having sex with me. And this time he was vocal. He was telling me that this is our little secret, that we shouldn't tell anybody. And if I don't tell, he would give me candy or take me to the store. He would just bribe me with little things. While he was having sex with me on the bed, my sisters were in the room. They had no idea what was going on. I was 6 at the time. My sisters were 4 and 2. They had no idea. And they were young. Of course, they wouldn't know. So we stopped and I put on my clothes and I went back to my room. And I remember sometimes my aunt, we were very close in age. She was probably around 7 or 8. She would spend days with us until she stopped coming. I didn't know what really happened. And then I realized that my rapist didn't want her to come. He made up some lie so he could continue raping me since she wasn't coming back. And I remember one time I came home from school and I saw my mother sitting on the steps, and we were living at an apartment. She was sitting on the steps crying. I asked her, "What's wrong? Why are you crying?" And she told me that I don't live here anymore, that I'm going away to my father's, to my dad's. I ran into the house, went to the bathroom, get some tissues, and ran out so I could wipe my mother's eyes. At first, I told her that everything is going to be okay. And I started crying, and I saw my mom's boyfriend packing my clothes. And I told her I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave. But she felt like she had no choice but to. And the thing is, it wasn't her choice. It was all his. He packed my things for me to live with my dad, but we wasn't really close because I just found out that he was my father. Little after I went over to his house. Now my dad, he wasn't a bad guy, but he was a stranger to me. I didn't know who he was. Like I saw him around the time that I was kicked out. He was married with 2 kids and a stepson. I'm not really going to go into that. I'll probably save that for a story time. And if you guys want to know, just like this video and let me know in the comments below. After everything that has happened with the rape, it was really hard. I told my aunt about what happened to me. And I also told my grandma as well. Because at that time, my mom and the guy broke up. So my mom was living with my grandmother. So up to the age of 10, which was 4 years after the fact. This was around 2002, 5th grade. What urged me to tell my mom was the night before, I told her I was watching a documentary on MTV about AIDS. And I was like, I hope I don't get AIDS. I was scared to have AIDS. So the next morning, after I got dressed for school, getting ready to leave, I told my mom what happened. She screamed. She called everyone. She was crying. She called the cops. The cops came. I had to write a statement. I was just really scared with the whole process. I remember probably like a couple days after I had like a rape kit or checked out, and then I heard that he got arrested. And then I remember someone telling me that I had to go to court, to the courthouse and stuff, and I was really scared because I was a very shy and quiet person, and I'm very anxious around a group of people. I was really, really scared. I don't like attention. I don't want to feel like I'm getting someone in trouble. I don't remember if we went. I didn't I didn't remember what happened after that. No one told me anything what happened. Like the last thing I heard was he was arrested and then he was released from jail. And that's all I heard. I didn't hear the results about my checkup or so I just carried on trying to survive. I remember trying to talk to my mom about what I was feeling and about the rape and stuff. And I remember her keep telling me to just forget about it. It's all in the past. Just forget about it. When something like that happens to you, it really shifts your thinking and and your mentality. So when my mom told me that, I was shocked and I was angry because I felt like she's like brushing it off and dismissing, what I had to deal with. How can I forget about some disgusting man violating me and how that completely destroyed me? How he took life away from me before it actually began. How it's so hard for me to grow up into this wonderful woman, the woman I inspired to be because of him. I'm supposed to forget about it. It's all in the past. Yeah, it's all in the past, but I can never, never forget about it. Ever. I expected my mom to be compassionate. I wanted her to be compassionate. I wanted her to hold me and hug me and tell me that I'm really sorry. I should have been there. Or I wish that she would have taken me to like a therapist or something for me to deal with what I was going through at the time. I was very high-tempered. I was really angry, filled with so much pent up anger and fear. I was very, very irritable. I remember having like such a high temper. I remember just throwing things across the room and start screaming. Like I was under a lot of stress and pressure about a lot of things, and it was hard for me to even speak to people about things that are going on, thoughts that I was thinking about. I was by myself most of the time. I remember wearing this torn gray jacket every day to school, like this oversized jacket, kind of like concealing myself. I felt disgusting. I felt like trash. I was so numb. I was so naive and susceptible to pain, susceptible to people having their way with me. I didn't value myself. So, yeah, when I was 13, things got so bad, I just wanted to kill myself. I took a butcher knife from the kitchen, went to my mother's room, and my sisters saw that I had this huge knife in my hand and they took it away from me. I told them that I just couldn't take this anymore. I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired. And then after that, I moved out and I lived with my uncle and his wife, and they were great parents to me. Around this time, I had animosity towards my mom. Growing up, I had much love for her. I loved her to death. I looked up to her because I felt like that's what I was supposed to do because she's my mom and she gave birth to me. You know, Thought that was the right thing to do. Because I had like this hatred, hatred against her that was building up, and I just didn't know why. There was something. I thought about why she wanted me to forget about what happened so bad. Why didn't she notice the rapist? What was taking him so long to come back to bed? Why does she always leave me alone with him? And why did she let him kick me out of the house? Why? She was among those people who would call me retarded. She would call me Jeje or Egaye. It means retarded in Creole. And she would also say Pigon Pi Mal, which means the oldest and the worst. I'm trying to understand how am I the oldest and the worst when I haven't done anything. I'm quiet. Like I don't disrespect you. I loved you blindly for so many years. She was highly concerned about her image. Oh, I would do this for my kids. I really love my kids. But my question is to my mom, where were you when I was being raped? Where were you? Why did you keep leaving me with him? And he wasn't even my father. Just why? She was still talking to this man, invited him into her house after I told her what happened to me, what he did to me. I was about 16 years old and I was staying overnight. The next day, I heard a knock on the door, and I wasn't living at my mom at this time. And I believe one of my sisters, they opened the door. And there he was. He came into the house very comfortable. He was sitting on the couch, all relaxed, mellowed out. And it was so awkward as hell for me. I stayed in my sister's room. I was just like, I can't believe she still talks to this man. I can't believe she still talks to him. Can't believe it. Now I understand that he is my sister's father, but that was just a complete slap on the face because my mom didn't believe me or she played a part. I was a defenseless child. I was violated. And she chose him all this time. Maybe it's because he was able to provide for her. Because I was just a kid. And maybe I was just a burden to her. And then around the time I found out the reason why nothing happened after I had like the checkup and stuff, around the time I told my mom, they told her that I wasn't raped. I was still a virgin. They didn't see anything. I was 10 when I told my mom about it. And it happened to me when I was 6. So, of course, there won't be any evidence. There won't be any vaginal tearing. Like, it healed by now. And here I am, picking up the pieces of my life and trying to move forward. When I was a baby, she would leave me in the crib to be with a man who raped me. All this time, she didn't protect her child. She chose a disgusting, despicable man over her daughter. I was so mad at my mom. I told her how much she wasn't a good mother. She let this happen to me. She cared about no one but herself. And she was like, why are you treating me like this? What did I do wrong? And I list all these things that she did wrong. She didn't really apologize to me about what she has done or what she didn't do. She was like, I'm sorry that you feel that way. She didn't apologize for not stepping up as a mother to protect her child. She didn't say sorry for choosing him over me. She tried to flip the script to make me feel bad for her, trying to make it all about her. Now, why should I feel bad for you? Why? And that is my story. The rape had made me more of a recluse person. My anxiety, of course, had risen up. I twitch when I'm being touched. And think it's not even my fault. And I'm not where I need to be or where I want to be, but what makes me strong is the fact that I'm still here. I was in the midst of having like an anxiety attack, and then I had a lot of thoughts built up, so I just had to exit so I could just release myself. um, I just really wish that I didn't have to go through this type of thing. I'm suffering through depression, and I have anxiety as well, so it's kind of hard for me to get through the day sometimes. I have grown up putting others before myself, even after all the shit that I've been through as a child, being raped and abused, and feeling unloved and unwanted, feeling abandoned. Like sometimes I just wonder, like, why am I here? Like, sometimes I'm better off dead. Sometimes I feel like I am, but then again, it's the worst thing to say because there's a reason why I'm here, and I can't just give up so easily. I don't want people to know that, yeah, I was crying. But then I turned my pain into art, kind of shifted, you know, the sorrows and stuff. I just put it all in my art and into my writing. And the status of my rapist, he is out, married, with his own set of kids, living his life as if he didn't do anything wrong. Meanwhile, the girl he violated is still trying to figure herself out, trying so hard to convince herself that she is a wonderful person. It's so unfortunate how, when I was being raped, I was thinking about my mom the whole time. But in the end, she failed me. She failed me as a mother. I still love her, but I also have this hate towards her. I'm still trying to find the pieces of my life that was taken away. For those who are experiencing it, you are definitely not alone. And don't be afraid to speak up. Don't wait too late. Don't wait too late. Call someone, talk to someone. Let your voice be heard, and that you are strong and beautiful. Just keep pushing. You are here for a reason. You may not know what it is, but don't give up. I'm trying as well. I am very strong and very brave. Still trying to get through the day. Still trying to fight every day. I was a victim, but I am a survivor. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, because at first I was pretty reluctant to even speak about it, but sometimes it doesn't hurt to share a story, and that could maybe help another person. See you guys in the next video. Bye.